Welcome everyone here to Unified. It is time for some League of Legends after a crazy Rainbow Six match, DJ. I got to catch the end of that and it looked pretty dang hype, I'm not gonna lie, but it is time for Return of the Middle Sticks taking on Wei and friends here in the Unified Major Leagues. DJ, I'm glad to have you with me to bring us through the action.
I'm excited to be here, Necrox. Excited for the kickoff of Week 3. We've had a couple of buys, one for Wei and friends, none yet for Return to the Middle Sticks. But we have two teams that are very eager for this matchup, seem very evenly matched on paper, and based on what their players have been telling me, both believe that they are going to win tonight, Necrox.
Certainly, both with a positive outlook on the evening tonight, and we have a best of three that lies ahead. Before we get into draft, I got to get your opinions on these two teams. I know we already talked about some win conditions previous to this stream, but my eyes peeled on a couple places. First is the top lane. Jimster, known for being a lane bully up there, taking range champions and really making things hurt. And if he can get the best attendees on this top lane, could begin to snowball this game out of control.
Yeah, I am actually going to be looking very much at the top lane, Necrox. I think the Jimster plays a lot of ranged in that top lane, so that sort of solo top lane, solo queue top laner you hate to see crop up. He will try to bully you out, with the Kennen, with the Jace. He can even pull out the Neeko if he wants to. But Tendies, according to one of the members of this middle stick side, is their most mechanically gifted player, plays in a very, very fiery, flashy playstyle, and absolutely loves Aurelia, who has become massive on this patch 11.14. So my eyes will be very much fixed on this top lane to see which one of these two players can exert their force on this match today.
Love to see it. And the other point of interest for me, Necrox and DJ, I think we both have a lot of stake in this bot lane. It is a new support player in for Return to the Middle Sticks, so the duo will be a little bit shifted here for Duck and No Type. See if they can take this 2v2 straight to Dobbs and Glaceon. You know more about Pokemon than me. Can you tell me a little bit about what this guy can bring to the table? Some special moves, what he's got under his sleeve?
Yeah, special moves gonna be some engage and setup. This guy's a jungler normally, subbing in. So if there's one thing that he will have, it is macro sense. It is sense of where the enemy jungler is gonna be on the map, where to roam from that bottom lane. So I want to see a healthy amount of engage for No Type we play. Typically something that does make off-role players able to exert themselves on the game, be at the right place at the right time, hit those engage buttons, and make something happen for your team. I absolutely know that Bark Go Duck, extremely solid bot laner, another player that this squad has a lot of belief in. So I would look to get No Type we play as comfortable as possible and expect Bark to be comfortable considering his skill level.
All right, here we go, baby. In just a second, we're going to head into draft, and here we are for game one between Return of the Middle Six, the LAN winners. May Firelight, he has a trophy on his back. The rest of the roster may not, but this guy certainly looking to carry his momentum forward after taking a victory after the LAN event. Wei and friends looking to take him down through the mid lane. Bans coming through. Samira and Nocturne, of course, going to be banned away, along with that Tristana taken off the board.
Samira and Nocturne. Samira's a favorite on the side of Dobbs. This is his most played on the season, so not surprised to see that one taken away. Typically is something you do want to take out of the hands of specialists. We see that in leagues all around the amateur scene. We see that in the professional scene. You don't give Danny Samira, you don't give Dobbs Samira. The same thing kind of goes. Nocturne, of course, the strongest champion pretty much in the game. In many people's opinion, Joshi, a strong proponent of it. A lot of people love this champion. It's 60 plus win rate in a couple of roles. It's the highest win rate in top, mid, and jungle at the moment. So yeah, get that one out of there. Kumazu plays it. You don't want it to show up in LeBlanc. Has been rising in priority, but there is that Aurelia ban away from Tendies, but he does get his hands on a Gwen, and that is certainly a champion that you can express yourself on, Necrox.
Yeah, you want another mobile champion that does a whole hell of a lot of damage, never dies at a team fight. Gwen is your go-to. Can't get your hands on the Aurelia? Just pick Aurelia 2.0, man. The blades are sharp and it cuts through teams like butter with a hot knife. Tendies able to grab that one up. Expected to be headed to the top lane. Could, of course, maybe see something like the Gwen jungle, but isn't as high priority. But speaking of that jungle, Graves is in. I have seen some dark technology floating around. You build the Eclipse, you go the Collector, you build your LDR as well. You just get as much lethality and armor pen across the board. We'll see if that's the case, or we're getting something more standard, something like the Shield Bow. Up to what way and friends want to go. The Thresh is going to be the pairing for R2.
Now, the Thresh is interesting. This makes me think that we have an Aphelios coming, Necrox. We don't see the AD carry yet picked up here for Return of the Middle Sticks. We'll see what they do opt to go for, but I would be picking something that does make Aphelios' life a little bit harder in any sort of matchup, because that Thresh is just a big kind of tell for a very powerful but immobile AD carry. Jinx is another one that has used that combination very successfully over this season, and that's exactly the kind of pick I would have been expecting. The Ezreal is someone who makes Aphelios' life miserable. Aphelios wants to interact with you. He only has one gun that has long range. Everything else, while not necessarily defensive, takes a little more setup, requires a little more close range, and Ezreal can just interact with you from a distance that you can't really do so on Aphelios, and that is one of the things he absolutely hates. So I do like what ROTM have done here. They've preempted this potential pick, and now they may force Way and friends to change up their draft priority.
Okay, Ezreal, one of the champions that can stay pretty safe against something like the Aphelios. Can actually be a lane bully in correct instances. We'll see though. Ezreal pretty safe all across the board. Thunder nerfs for range champions doesn't really matter. Ezreal's one of the best in the game right now. Plus you pick up something like the Frozen Heart, makes the attack speed and damage really rough. Rakan as well, lots of range, lots of long range potential there for the Engage instead of the Aphelios. So we're getting the Kai'Sa locked in for Dobbs. Maybe not the best pairing with something like the Thresh, but the CC is always going to be useful, stacking up that plasma and making marksmen like Ezreal or even a support like Rakan disappear.
Yep, it just gives you a dive onto the backside. This is more of the counter into the Ezreal. So I think a little bit of kind of tit for tat here, Necrox, says that Ezreal kind of picked, I think, to preempt Aphelios, and this Kai'Sa picked to deal with the Ezreal, right? You can hit him with a W or any sort of CC, and all of a sudden your AD carry from 1,000 units away can jump right on top of him, burst him out. That is that counter play into the Aphelios, which I think is more why this is picked. But like you said, not the most traditional bot lane match or duo here, excuse me, for W and F. It's a little bit separate. It's nothing we don't see a ton. I would expect a little more roaming out of the support and a little more focus on letting this Kai'Sa lane alone, pick up all the CS, and having her be an explosive presence in team fights, not so much the laning phase.
Yeah, as long as you're not getting knocked up at the grand entrance by Dobbs, he has a supercharger to evade. As long as you're not getting dove on like that, there's no way Ezreal can arcane shift and take a positive trade. So should be safe here in the 1v2 as long as he does play respectfully. That means Glaceon can get across the map, begin to help the other marksmen for Way and friends right now, which is great. So already picked themselves up a double marksman composition. We'll see where they want to head though. They're taking away a lot of tanks, which isn't something you love to see when you have two marksmen, but when you're two marksmen or something like the Graves and the Kai'Sa, it begins to make sense. Jin Zhao got his way all the way through phase 1 plus phase 2 bans, and we're getting him on R4 for Way and friends.
And we actually have seen Xin Zhao fall a little bit through the priority in the jungle. The Diana right now, that premier AP jungler, Viego, after the adjustments in 11.13 moved to the jungle. That rose in priority. Volibear now is actually taking a lot over Xin. So maybe not the most surprising thing, but there is a jungler who has been rising in priority, picked up here for RRTM, and that is the Trundle. Just exceptional into any sort of short range skirmishing matchup against a bruiser, while Graves, not a melee champion, kind of functions in a similar manner. You can steal the tanky stats off of anyone in this roster. It just becomes a lot harder for Graves to take that lethality build and burn through your team. And yes, thank you, a Ziggs coming in. I absolutely love Ziggs. Necrox, this champion, is so busted. It does so much damage, and it goes very well with the rest of this composition. 2 engagers, a big front line there in the Trundle, and 2 long-range damage dealers that can help with siege and damage over the top. I really like this flex at the end of the draft for RRTM.
And the key here is safety. You have Gwen with a Hallowed Mist able to dodge in and out of fights when necessary. You have Ezreal, Rakan, some of the safest bot lane presence you get. Trundle has his own peel with the pillar. He's also pretty naturally tanky, and Ziggs is one of the longest range mages in the game. It is going to be really hard to kill Return of the Middle Sticks this game, so they're going to have to pick up some damage in the mid lane, and is that what we see? Glaceon, of course, locking in here for Avis. Will pick up that Syndra, the Burst Mage, something we haven't seen all too often, but of course, you hit the Scout of the Week, you hit the Unleashed Power, someone's probably going to disappear, so at least they get some sort of damage on the board, some magic damage here in the mid lane for Wei and friends.
Yeah, I think this is not a bad adaptation from Wei and Friends. Syndra's not someone we see a whole lot, but I do believe this is going to be a Ziggs in the mid lane, considering we have the Ezreal in the bottom lane. We've seen the Ziggs played in that AD carry role quite a bit recently, but considering you have him there, that is a champion you can absolutely burst out. Syndra has the range on that QE combination with the Force Unleashed to stun him up, hit that R button, and delete him off the map. One of the few champions I think that can do that, and also is not going to be punished by Ziggs, which a lot of other mid laners can do to Syndra at the moment. So I do think it's a safe enough pick. I think it offers you that assassination onto very safe damage dealers for Return of the Middle Sticks. I think it's a decent flex. We'll have to see. The big question, like you said, it's about safety for RTM. It's going to be about access for WNF. Can you get this Graves around the Trundle? Can you get the stun with Syndra and then allow your Kai'Sa to fly into the backline and let her do her work?
All right, we got to start in the beginning of things, though, before we head to break DJ for Wei and Friends. I'm looking at this mid-jungle duo. I think they have so much CC, so much damage in the early game. If they can begin to move across the map together, I really like what Avis and Kumazu could do together with that knock-up into the Scatter Week. That's a one-shot combination. On the other end, it's a lot of laning power. I'm going straight back to the top side. Tendi's picking up Gwen. B1 just shines confidence. This champion is so disgustingly overtuned, and I want to see him really put on the pressure, especially something like the level 1. Though we do have Xin Zhao, so Graves is probably going to be going something like top lane, I would imagine. Not sure how that matchup plays out. Graves could play out of the Hallowed Mist. Does have some level 1 dashes as well if he does decide to take the quick draw. We'll see, though, how the skill points are put into the 1v1, but I still want to see Tendi's regardless take that Ignite, take that TP, and begin to snowball this lane.
Yeah, I think you absolutely should. I will see if that's the mirrored effort of the mirrored summoner spills from Jimster if he does take Ignite and TP as well. You could do it because Graves has that dash. It's a similar concept to Gwen, and I think he might have to. You know, one of the reasons that Gwen is so powerful in the lane is that level 1 where you take the E, you just dash right in your opponent's face, and with the enhanced attack speed, you just start snipping, right? You snip them all up, and I have on very good authority from numerous sources that Gwen just doesn't lose level 1 to anyone. That being said, those are all tests against mostly meta top laners. Graves is certainly not one of those top laners. He is a bully in the lane, and with an Ignite, I am also intrigued to see if he can actually stand up to a Gwen. I don't think he can quite get it done at level 1, but maybe the Jimster will be proving me wrong in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this 1v1 is certainly going to be something to watch, and the highest win rate build right now for Graves top is nearly 52%. Like, this champion has got some really dark wizardry going on with the Eclipse, LDR, and Collector builds. So we'll see how Jimster decides to itemize up there in the 1v1. The only other point of interest, of course, is this 2v2. I think, honestly, Dobbs isn't going to want to take this 2v2 all too much. Ezreal is really hard to kill, especially when he starts stacking those ruby crystals for the Divine Sunderer. Plus, then he starts itemizing armor towards the late game. So flying in later isn't actually all too easy for the Kai'Sa here. Hail of Blade starts to get mitigated by the Frozen Heart. You don't find the one-shot, and then all of a sudden you're out of cooldowns. You don't have your invis from your supercharger, and you're kind of up the river without a paddle for Dobbs. So want to see how he plays this late game, but more importantly, going to have to get ahead early because Kai'Sa does not like to play into a team like this without a lot of gold to work with.
Yeah, I think the key there is the being ahead part. Pre-2 items, you should have no problem assassinating the Ezreal, right? There's no extra armor. There's nothing there to help you. That's a third item at best, is the Frozen Heart. I even see some people taking that fourth. And that is a point in the late game when Kai'Sa will probably be a little mitigated by some of the other champions in the game as well. So pre 3 items at that 2 item spike, I definitely think this Kai'Sa can absolutely burst you as the Ezreal. 1 item potentially, even if there's a little bit of extra damage over the top from the teammates on Wei and Friends. So there are windows for Dobbs to play this one out, but I do agree with you that when the armor does come in, which I think will be a third item choice for Barco Duck considering the matchup, it will get a lot trickier to do so, and you can easily be collapsed upon by the rest of this composition. It will require Dobbs to play it very cleverly. However, overall, I would say if this game gets to 3 items Necrox, I don't think it's going to be Dobbs' fault if they lose. I think it's largely going to be on the draft that they have for themselves because they are looking for very heavy mid-game skirmishing, right? Graves on 1 item. He has such a good build path. It's such a quick build to Eclipse. It's a really nice power spike. The same can be said for Xin Zhao on Gore Drinker and for Syndra on 1 to 2 items when she can just burst you 100 to 0 with that unleashed power. They do not want this game to get to 3 items because they can't deal with 3 item Gwen. It's going to be hard to deal with 3 item Ezreal. So this is a game where Wei and Friends need to be making moves on their 1 to 2 item power spikes and have a good lead if they want to win the game. Look for Dobbs and company to be making those plays before that happens.
All right, gonna get that ball moving. Return to the middle 6, though. Probably just want to hang around with their range and with their safety. DJ, final thoughts before we send it to break here. Who are our stars? What are the laners we want to look at? Or junglers, if you don't count those as laners. Who are we looking at in this game to really push for the later stages of this season?
Again, watch top lane for Tendies versus the Jimster. That's going to be the exciting matchup, and I expect some jungle attention from Kumazu at the least. I think both these junglers can make plays at level 3. I think they'll both be interested in getting their top laners ahead, particularly on the side of Wei and Friends, who we have mentioned need to be making things happen pre-3 items around Drakes and objectives and around small skirmishes. I'm looking there for the early game. Then later on, you're looking at the 2 carries for Return of the Middle Stakes. It's Barco, Duck, and Firelight. They're going to be your important members to deal the damage out of the backline.
All righty, DJ, I appreciate your analysis as always. For now, we're going to send it to a quick break, but when we're back, we'll be loaded up and ready to on to the Rift for Game 1 between Return of the Middle Six and Wei and Friends. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome everyone here to Unified Major Leagues. I am Necrox, joined by DJ, and it is time for game one between Return to the Middle Six and Way and Friends. DJ, we talked about the draft, we got a lowdown of what we're expecting, and now it's time to begin the fun.
Yeah, the fun can finally begin as they're running out onto the map. See if there's any level 1 shenanigans, Necrox. I don't really see any. But again, keep your eyes on this top side. Tendies and the Jimster are going to be critical to see who gets lane priority, who gets vision down, because that is where I do believe all the action should be happening in these opening minutes of the game. We heard, of course, from Firelight that Tendies is an incredibly gifted player in that top side, loves to play aggressively. And the Jimster, typically on those ranged top laner, is going to have to find a way to slow him down. Note that he has not taken Ignite, Necrox, so that could be very detrimental to trying to stand up to Tendies.
Yeah, Ignite is really, really good in these laning duels, especially when you're taking something like the refillable potions here for Jimster. Cuts down on that healing a lot, and Tendies should be able to win out in this 1v1, I would imagine. Quick note, Dobbs could have gone for something like the Longsword Start himself on the Kai'Sa. Is not the most normal of technology, but definitely could have headed that direction instead, just going for that D-Blade, and his counterpart opting for that tier. Stacking that thing up nice and early gives you access to a bunch of extra mana. Tendies thinking about checking that bush. Will be a little bit late as Kumazu getting a leash bot side, going to be headed up towards this top lane matchup.
Yep, he'll be up there first. There will be similar pathing from Loker as well. So again, we could see them hanging around there at level 3. I do want to follow up on your mention of the tier. This does signal for Bark that he's not really looking to play for this lane, right? Necrox, he's looking much more to farm up here. He's not looking to get heavy trades. You don't really win out on trades without the longsword or without the healing from the D-Blade. This is much more of a farming play for those item break points kind of Ezreal, and similar to what we set up in draft and in the pregame, I do expect no type we played to be roaming around a decent amount to early skirmishes and any objectives that our OTM want to play around. That is the signal I'm getting from this early itemization choice.
Yeah, certainly, that would be the idea. Jimster does not have a lot of vision as he walks in, and he's going to be met with a nice troll in the bush. Jimster now on the run, and does have flash. Loker has flash of his own, but the pillar is beautiful. They waited all this time. Be careful, Jim. There's no way out. And first blood, a solo kill in the enemy top laner, but Firefight now may go down as Avis finds a final auto and evens a score.
Well, okay, Necrox, we are getting fireworks right from the off here between these two sides. Our OTM and Way and Friends, they are not waiting around. Both of the junglers started on the bottom side. Both of them end up in the top side of the map, killing enemy solo laners. It is Firelight down for RTM, but it is the Jimster down in that critical top lane for Way and Friends, and I gotta say, I think that does favor our OTM. We talked about how critical this lane would be in the early game for both sides, and now Tendies is ahead without having to even use a summoner spell.
Yeah, he could absolutely TP anywhere if he needed to. Now fight over the bottom side. Crab knockup's gonna land its way into Dobbs. The hook is nice, but it's only gonna find the Rakan. The knockup into Firelight, and he's dead immediately. Loker has to flash. He's ignited, but gonna get stabbed through the heart. And it's Kumazu picking up number 1, make it 3 on the KP. As the likes of this red side squad are given no mercy. Way and Friends all over this Summoner's Rift.
Beautiful stuff from Way and Friends. Kumazu reads the intentions of Loker beautifully, and we set the stage for this skirmishing composition for Way and Friends. They want these kind of early fights, Necrox. They want to be skirmishing in that river. That cannot be said for Return of the Middle Six. That's why this Ezreal has tier. That's why there's a Ziggs in the mid lane. You want to scale up. You want to stay at range. Close quarters in the river is not good for them, and you saw it go heavily in the favor of Way and Friends.
Yeah, they just have more skirmish potential, and they're looking to make it happen once again. The Death Sentence will not connect. Wind becomes Lightning, going to be used now. Double knockup, and here comes the teleport advantage. It's going to come in from Firelight, but he's canceled by a Scout of the Week. The Locket, it's the pillar that's going to slow down Dobbs. They just don't have enough follow-through, not without the Grand Entrance. Kumazu able to walk his way away. The Flay will not connect either. The Battle Dance going to return this Rakan to safety, and it's an engage, but no blood spilled for the likes of Return to the Middle Sticks.
Yeah, big stuff from Avius. Once again, dominated. He's going to get solo kill here. Necrox Firelight. Oh, okay. Great satchel to keep himself alive, but this is not going well for Firelight. 0-2-0. His TP gets canceled, so the advantage lost in that sense. Tendies has now TP'd as well, so there is nothing going on here in a macro sense from our OTM, and they're just trailing by 1.2k gold at 5.5 minutes.
All right. Things have already begun to pop off here in UML. Tendies as well, taking a little bit of extra damage to this Electrocute Graves, but Jimster doing well on this pick to make sure he stays up and farm. Tendies using that teleport, but not getting much for it, along with Firelight getting his thing canceled, so he's not able to join the fight. And all of a sudden, Wei and friends, even though they were at a teleport deficit, they are straight back in this thing, grabbing a kill on every core member here. And, well, Loker was thinking about making something happen, but he fails his blast plant and now has to walk straight over ward. Jimster should not be any trouble here. Kumazu as well, just to make sure nothing goes wrong as he clears out his Krugs.
Yep, and that wave is in a bad spot for Jimster. That's why both the junglers are up here. It is going to be incumbent on Kumazu to try to shove this in. Tendies is just going to hold it here, and with the CS lead, he is level 6, a little bit of experience lead. He can get a solo kill if Kumazu does go back and Jimster screws up, so we might have to pan back to that top lane at any time. But meanwhile, Loker looking for mid lane. Avis is level 6, though.
Nice satchel, gonna push Avis back. Has no flash, but he does have the unleashed power. Level 6 is so important, and just looks at Loker and makes him walk away. They don't have enough to gap close, and Firelight and Loker come up empty-handed. Tendies using that snip ability to make sure Jimster respects the damage from the Gwen early on, and it's a double Doran start for Tendies, really looking to push this lane advantage. Does have a nice freeze, but this eventually will have to shove back out, and Jimster really not too down and farm for it. And well, they spent all this time topside. It's going to be Drake secured for Wei and friends.
Yeah, and you're going to want to see this a lot from Wei and friends. We should see this over and over for the next 5 or so minutes. Necrox, they are already very far ahead, nearly 1.5k gold. You have that Ezreal just went back for his Sheen. Only now can he really participate in lane trades, and the mid laner is so far behind for Firelight, and already on a mid laner who doesn't want to skirmish. These objectives should be largely free whenever Wei and friends want to go get them. It's going to be important for Loker in particular to try to find timings to steal away camps, to potentially trade for a Rift Herald or a Drake across the map when he can, because right now all of the objectives and river control should be going over to Wei whenever they so choose to take it.
Yeah, should be no issue here at all for Kumazu to really start stacking up this early game pressure. Not only does he have a lot of pressure on the map, showing up in a lot of different spaces, he's got a CS lead for himself. He is ahead in farm and really making this jungle his own as he clears out this bot side one more time. And he's every single camp up. Those Krugs are spawning in just a moment, so we have all three. Meanwhile, top side though, Ignite going down, and Jimster to follow. Tendies solos out this Graves.
And thank you to our directed camera observer there, K-Tag, for being quick on the trigger. We talked about the top lane. That way was in a terrible spot for the Jimster, and it finally ended up punishing him. Tendies runs him down with the ultimate. You see how powerful the Gwen truly is on just the double Doran's items. Absolutely obliterates Jimster. Kumazu gonna be here to clean up the wave. He will not win this 1v1. He's trying to hold it as long as he can. I don't know if he can. Tendies going to shove it in. It looks like he's done enough.
He's done enough to make sure Jimster can collect this wave, but this is going to push right straight back. Firelight's here as well, and with a mid lane rotation, that means Rift Herald is Loker's to have as long as there's no contest. Davis will have mid lane shoved now if he does want to rotate on over, but it does not appear that they want to contest, so they will just have to see this one go down. And at least there's something here on the back end for Loker. He'll be able to grab this Rift Herald, pop it down in one of these lanes, get a little bit more cash to return to the middle sticks.
Yep, and it's exactly what we talked about. Okay, hold on here. Avius is in the bottom lane.
He's been spotted out. The knockup is nice, and they just don't have enough damage. There's no way to kill this duo. It's so safe, and it's nothing on the rotation.
Yeah, really nicely done by No Type We Play. He sees them coming in. He's got the ward in the right spot for the deep roam, and he cleans up that potential play across the map from Avius. We talked about Loker needing those clever timings to take away objectives. Avius tried to play off one of those and didn't quite work out. That allows the pressure Tendi's created to net them a Rift Herald, which is critical for this ROTM side, who is going to scale up and was facing a pretty hefty deficit in the skirmishing and itemization department. Nicely done from them to stem the tide, and now they'll waste a little bit more of Kumazu's time.
Lots of TPs available if there were to be a dive hanging out around here, but Kumazu just making sure that this pink is cleared out. Should be no problem to clean up this wave now as well. And with 2 minutes on our next objective, this is where Return of the Middle Six really wants to begin using their noggins. Do we want to use this Rift Herald in a lane to apply pressure and get priority over this Drake, even though we might not have hit critical item breaks? Or do we want to make a play on the other side? Because if you bring multiple members up top side, they could really get this, probably, I'd say 80%, if not the entire dang turret up here, away from Jimster and get so much of that extra early gold from the plates. We'll see what they want to do, though, as time is ticking down and Loker clearing up towards that top side, but is headed into this bot river for now.
What you want to ideally do with this Rift Herald Necrox is break this mid lane turret. You have a Ziggs with you to help you with the demolition if you can find a timer, and it makes Syndra's life so much harder. You don't have this turret behind you. It's similar to an Orianna where you can sort of clear waves permanently on the tier 1, but it becomes so much harder when the waves start pushing away from you in the extra space. They're looking for him.
They just got him. Solo kill. Avis gonna find it in the mid lane, but he trades his life. Loker is cleaning up the kill on that with a nice return angle from the Rakan to find the engage. No Type We Play, making things happen on the support with a nice roam, and that is the benefit of having an Ezreal, man. You can farm safely, your support gets to roam and return the kill, but well done to Avis for finding a solo in the mid lane, as Dobbs picking up extra plating in the back end. Maybe looking at No Type here, but here comes the teleport. Double knock with the grand entrance. Dobbs having to use a killer instinct to walk away, but he does not have much left in the tank. Flash, beautiful. Dark passage. But now Glaceon might be the one in trouble. Essence fuck lands going forward, but Barco Duck not able to clean it up. The Guardian keeps him safe. Double summoners burned here for Wei and friends, but they escape with their lives.
Yeah, it's a good escape, but it's a worthwhile TP. They're going to get so much off of this with the Ziggs. They may even just get the full first turret. Here comes Loker. He's going to drop the Rift Herald and use it as a distraction for the Drake. There may be a skirmish over this. Kumazu looks interested. This could very much swing the match if there's a full commitment. There is so much on the table for these two teams at the moment, Necrox.
This turret's gone, so that's a lot of extra cash, but they have not had time to defend it, or excuse me, spend it. 1,200 left, and okay, the call is no contest. Kumazu was very far forward, but he was only making sure that that thing was taken down, and so Drake is off now. Tied up at 1-1, we're going to get a Cloud Soul on Summoner's Rift for Game 1, as I was talking about the Rift Herald going top, and they decide to use the bot for the priority, and it pays off with a beautiful teleport coming in, and Tendi's able to crash this one in top lane as well with a 20 CS lead now to this Gwen. Things are straight back in ROTM's favor.
Yeah, they're very much in ROTM's favor. Necrox, that play was absolutely huge. They got everything and the cake and the cherry on top. Everything was there for them. Drake goes down, first turret goes down in the bottom lane, and they don't even get contested against this early to mid-game skirmishing composition. That is an incredible boon for ROTM, and now we see Barco Duck just killing Jimster in top lane. They are just turning this all around. They were a 1.5k gold down, Necrox. They are now up, and they still have the scaling advantage.
That dirty, dirty S-word, man. Here we go again in the mid lane. Glaceon going low. Nice shield there from the Dark Passage. Loker here to reinforce, but the bomb, the Comet, not able to find it, nor can the Mystic shot flashed over the wall as Loker. We able to chomp down on Glaceon, and now Kumazu is a little bit too far forward. Avis now going to be 1v1'd out by Loker as well. Kumazu on the run along with Avis. All of Wei and friends trying to escape, but both members, I think, will be able to, unless they can find Kumazu under his turret here with a 3v1 scenario. There is always a teleport for Avis to find, but Kumazu on the run will be able to find his way away. So Return of the Middle Six only grab the one, but one is simply better than none.
One is simply better than none, and the time wasted on the retreat is going to net them another turret in the top lane. Ziggs doing his usual duty of warping the game state around Siege with that satchel charge. It's now 2 turrets to none. It is a 1k gold lead over to ROTM as they continue to get stronger in this game. Already 1 mythic item for Firelight. We can't even see the solo kills anymore. They just happen so fast, Necrox.
Tendies just takes him down again, man. And this Gwen has steel caps, a leeching leer, and a blasting wand. By the way, not even an item. Jimster has his Eclipse.
It's about to be a full item too, Necrox. It's about to be a full item. You just won you just got a solo kill on not a mythic item, and yep, there it is. Riftmaker coming in here for Tendies. We set this player up so heavily in the beginning of the game, and he is not disappointing. Absolutely smurfing it on this Gwen. Has 1,000 gold lead over his counterpart. Still has a teleport, and is only going to get more and more deadly. Beautiful stuff from Tendies, and everything is coming up ROTM at the moment, Necrox.
I will say, the angle here for Wei and Friends is their bot lane. Dobbs has a nice CS lead as well, plus he's going the one-shot build. He has gone for the Gale Force and an extra bit of lethality in the Serrated Dirk, so he has a lot of execute potential if he can find the targets. But the problem is diving into champions like the Trundle, like the Gwen, and even the Ezreal Rakan plus Ziggs aren't that easy to do, so really going to need to be creative here for Wei and Friends to find smaller skirmishes without every member surrounded. But that is not what Return of the Middle Six are allowing. They have 4 members up here on top side, making sure their second Rift Herald goes their way. As a return angle, though, from Wei and Friends might be to siege mid lane, but instead they're going to have to deny the engage. Here comes a Quickness with a nice knock-up. Bomb over the top, not going to be able to finish off any targets. Now Loker taken down to about half HP. He's getting burned. Shut down, sadly goes to Glaceon, but they pick up the bounty and cash in.
Yeah, and finally, a bit of a turnaround. Tendies has to run for the hills, but should be fine. That Hallowed Mist still available. Not sure if the fighting's done.
What a hook from Glaceon, and Kumazu is the one to cash out. What a hook there. Finding the mark, and now Tendies using the Hallowed Mist to dance around. The needle is coming through. Kumazu going low. Doesn't have the third charge that was already used, so cannot find any more. And thank you, observers. Pure darkness means they cannot chase any further. Wei and Friends, everyone low health with 30 seconds on this next Drake.
Yeah, it's a critical turnaround for Wei and Friends, and they do fortunately have the TPs to defend this mid lane turret from Firelight, who has already used that satchel charge for 2. The engage just a little split up for ROTM. I actually think No Types engage was good. The damage came down from Firelight, but then Loker just went too far, disrespecting how many members could be there, and he paid for it with his life. Critically, though, the Drake is coming up, and okay, we are going to get a pause, which actually allowed me to finish my point here, Necrox. We talked about earlier the fact that Wei and Friends wanted to use their earlier item spikes and their bigger item spikes to fight for objectives like this, that they should control objective pathways. The last 3 objectives have gone to Return of the Middle Sticks, and every single one of them, except for their support, has a mythic item. It still takes 2 really for Gwen to come fully online, but they can skirmish. They can win skirmishes. It is not beyond their power, and that is a scary thing to think if you are Wei and Friends.
Yeah, it really is. They are able to do absolutely everything at this point. Everyone has their first item. Interesting to see Bark Go Duck actually pick up the Manamune first, but still will have a lot of damage. The Phage and Sheen are enough to compensate for the lack of Sunder, and his team has enough damage as well. You have a 2-0 Gwen top lane, you have a 3-2 Trundle, plus the Tiamat, and the Luden Ziggs to provide extra burst on top, even stacking up that Dark Seal, as I do believe we had a disconnect issue for the likes of Return of the Middle Six. Hopefully that one is solved soon. But I gotta set the scene for this Drake. It is tied up 1-1 in terms of dragons. We are headed towards what could be a win condition for either team, but it is Cloud Soul, DJ. Not sure if I'm sold on putting everything on the line for an Air Drake.
I kind of am in this case, particularly for Return of the Middle Sticks for their ultis. Actually, a lot of champions in this game really like this Cloud Soul on their ultimate. We look at the Gwen, we look at the Graves really like it, so does the Xin Zhao. Really only 3 or 4 champions that don't like it that much. I mean, think about an engage with Rakan, right? On that ulti. So I actually think this Cloud Soul is very powerful for both teams. And I also think it can accelerate towards an Elder Drake. I don't think I think Cloud Soul gets less credit than it's due in the meta game, considering what is available around it. Right, you're not taking inhibitors right now. Even when that soul comes up, you might not be at that stage. So I think going for a Cloud Soul is just fine and is a win condition in this game. Necrox, I think it is worth fighting over, and I do think if you are the likes of Wei and Friends, you're running out of opportunities to have something to fight over where you can get them in a corridor, where you can get them on even footing and try to use your items to win a skirmish.
You know what? I'm jumping on the DJ train here. Not only am I never able to back down from a fight when my team pings go, I'm always ready to duke it out, but I also agree. I think something like the Rakan ulti with the Cloud Soul could be pretty valuable. And Wei and Friends, more importantly, I'm glad you bring up the point, are kind of running out of things to fight over. There's no more Rift Heralds. It's going to turn into Barons any moment. Plus, you have to now think about Dragons as a possible win condition for the enemy team. So, okay, I like it. I'm sold. I think we should begin the skirmishing right back up. For now, it is all 5 members of Wei and Friends surrounding this Drake. I know you can't see it on your screen. I'll paint a little picture. Drake's here. Wei and Friends all over top of it. They are like literally surrounding this thing like flies on honey. Return of the Fiddlesticks are late to this dragon, so they're going to have to fight their way in, but I would not put it past No Type We Play, the substitute support here, to find that critical engage, and if they can, not sure there's much escape, because this Return of the Fiddlesticks team has been confident in their decision-making so far, and will take that punish if they can get it.
I completely agree with you. No Type We Play has actually been pretty sick in this game with his engages thus far. I don't think he's whiffed one, and he's hit multiple 2 to 3 man engages already. So I very much trust him to pull this one off. And the combination we've seen them going for, it hasn't quite come off just yet, but you got to look at flash timers. Is that Rakan into Ziggs combination where you guarantee the true damage area due to the buffs on the time it takes for the Ziggs ultimate to reach its target, and there is a flashless Syndra on the enemy composition. It was Avius flashing it last time when they got that kill on Loker. He can't do it this time, so that's the combo you're looking for. Get that multiple man engage into that bomb over the top, and then you can let Tendies go for the cleanup work.
The only thing I'll say is there's a locket in that could deny a little bit of extra burst damage, probably one of the best mythics generally into something like the AoE Ziggs. You press the locket, the shielding denies a lot of the damage. Even the burn effect, if they do build something like the Liandry's, can be mitigated. This time it is Ludens for the upfront burst, so the locket will provide a little bit of extra value. But instead, I'm still looking at this Rakan and even Tendies on this Gwen to be in the front line, to cause chaos, to disrupt this fight. And Tendies, I know we haven't been able to actually see it on the camera because there's been so much fighting in different areas. But this man has taken 1v1s the moment his wave is in a good position. You were talking about the freeze that was set up top lane for so long. It eventually pushed back out. But right before it got the pushback out, he all-in'd. He was ready for it. He understood that his opponent had literally 0 resistances. He's got Berserkers, Greaves, and Eclipse. So he is as squishy as basically a level 1 Graves minus the base stats that get upgraded. And he could really rip through this team. That last needlework that we saw in the bot side river hit like 4 members and everyone lost a chunk of their health bar. If he can do that now, he could really find access to this backline and cause some damage to go through.
Yeah, Tendies on Riftmaker already. You can do a lot on the Gwen with just that one item. 2 items, of course, is the big power spike. So there is some room for counterplay still here for Wei and Friends. Now, we're talking a lot about the damage coming out from this side of our OTM, but this is still the point in the game in which Wei and Friends can get some things done. We've seen them struggle to execute in the setups to these team fights. They're critically going to need to get one member into the backline and get a plasma proc down if they want to win this fight. Necrox, you got the Gale Force there, that cooldown coming back up in just a few seconds, but you have to unleash Dobbs to get any sort of coordinated engage because unfortunately, your top lane is already lacking a little bit of damage compared to where he should be. Should probably be looking at least a Dirk Eclipse here. You can still definitely do damage with that Eclipse, but not as much as you'd be looking at. Requires just a little bit better team fighting here from Wei.
Yeah, and this is the member we were talking about from the beginning. Dobbs really needs to step up big time. Yes, you do have a lot of skirmish potential with something like this Xin Zhao Syndra, but they can only set you up so much. Syndra gets one button and then her combo needs to be reset. After that, you're just buying time with the Xin Zhao ulti. You're dashing around with the grades. You have safety from the Lantern, but Dobbs is really the one doing the full-on damage. And there isn't too many resistances built yet for the backline. Ezreal is still relatively squishy. So if we can see another one of those crazy hooks from Glaceon, if we can see another crazy scat of the week from Avius, they could stun up critical targets, and then Dobbs can fly in, use that Gale Force, use that extra lethality, and find that one shot and turn a 5v5 into a 5v4 before we even notice.
Yep, that's how it does need to happen. You know, some sort of pick into that full-fledged engage onto the backline, because we have been talking about the members, right? Firelight started off very slow, but he and Bark, are quickly becoming the most important members in the game. Tendies is the cleanup crew, Tendies is the damage, but if you can never get onto the backline members of RTM, it doesn't matter what you do to the front line. It honestly doesn't even matter if you kill Tendies. Tendies will do enough damage to soften you up for them to finish you off. You need to get access to them, and that either comes from some sort of pick, like you said, or some sort of all-out engage. And this composition is not really designed for all-out engage. It requires a little bit of finesse to get the engage right, to get Dobbs into the back line. That's one of the problems I think their comp has had from the beginning of this game, and it's something that they will have to overcome. They're definitely good enough to do it, Necrox. They're 2-0 in the league for a reason. They were incredibly confident coming into the night, and a lot of that confidence was coming from Kumazu, who will be one of those engage buttons. So we gotta see it now, or the next objective, or this game again will continue to slide away from them.
Yeah, and it's honestly crazy that we run into this pause right before what could be a game-determining fight. I mean, this is honestly one of the break points that you look at in a game and go, okay, we're cresting the mid game, we're cresting this point of scaling meets early game skirmish, and I don't know who could take this one. It's a lot of priority here for the likes of Wei and friends, but Return to the Middle Six has proven themselves to be able to skirmish at times we did not think, DJ. But I think we're going to have to throw it to a quick intermission while we sort out some connectivity issues. Hopefully we will resolve those awfully soon. DJ and I will be right back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere as we find out who wins this streak and who could take game one between Return to the Middle Six and Wei and friends. Haha, I told you it would not be long. Welcome back, and it is time for this Drake fight. Told you it'd just be a moment, and indeed it was. Rift Herald popped down mid lane. Thank you, observers, for toggling that one. Turret gone, DJ, but Drake gone as well.
Wow, everything we set up, Necrox just got absolutely blown out of the water, but I can't say I'm upset about it. I love this decision from the side of ROTM. They're going to sack the Drake for 2 turns with the second Rift Herald, and now we're going to hit the go button.
Okay, the fight's coming out. The engage is denied a little bit. Jimster taking down about 3/4. Kumazu here on the front line as well. Loker getting one shot, and Loker's our first one to fall. Kumazu picking up the kill on that. Kumazu making it a double. Tendy's now on the run as well with a hallowed mist, throwing a lot of needles forward, and Kumazu's gonna fall. Barco Duck flashing his way in. Triple kill to this Ezreal, and it is only Glaceon to stand. Bark finds his moment and makes it happen here for Return to the Middle Sticks.
My God, Bark and Tendies just go off, Necrox. We set it up so perfect. perfectly. The fight went terribly at the start for ROTM, but what did we say? It doesn't matter what you do to the front line. Tendies will do enough damage to you. He did so much damage that he healed half his health bar, and then Bart cleaned up the fight with the triple kill. They never got onto the backline members, and they were made to be punished for it. Beautiful stuff coming out from ROTM, and they are now in full control of this game with a wide open mid lane.
That is so important for Return of the Middle Six. Not only do they get that extra gold from the fight, but they also cracked up in mid before. Tendies now getting caught out. Kumazu flashing forward on him. Tendies does not have the ulti, and without that cooldown, he is nowhere near as strong as a champion. Should fall. Kumazu almost dies in the back end, but will grab the shutdown onto the enemy top laner.
My God, it took them everything they had to not trade 1-for-1 Necrox, and this is still free 2-item Gwen. This is what we're talking about when we say it's going to get so much harder. Here's Ziggs just doing Ziggs things again with this bomb, clearing out an entire mid wave. They don't even get to trade out the mid lane tier 1 turret. And it just feels like this one is out of the control of Wei and Friends already. It's 10-9 in kill score. They're not even that far behind in terms of gold, but with 10 minutes to go before they can get a Dragon Soul, that will at least be 2 items for Tendies and everyone else on this roster for ROTM. They will have a tough time getting the Baron down as well. It's going to take some very creative plays off of Vision, some very important picks if Wei and Friends want back into this game.
Yeah, and this is where you start testing the limits of the shot calling, testing the limits of what plays you can make, because it's no longer about just walking into objectives. You have to play around Vision. You have to think about what the enemies can provide, and at this point, to be frank, is just more than what Wei and Friends can. Their composition was not built to be behind, and unfortunately for them, they are in a behind state of the game. Just about 2k gold, a little bit more, is the name of the deficit here for Wei and Friends, as Barco Duck still pushing out this top side, and everyone here to reinforce. Dobbs here trying to clear out the wave when it crashes, but against something like an Ezreal Ziggs, that is no easy task.
Yeah, they're just going to absolutely demolish this turret. You cannot stop the Ziggs, baby. He started 0-2 in this game, Necrox. Firelight was 0-2 in this game. He's going to easily have the most damage to turrets. He's going to have the most damage in the game. It's absolutely disgusting. People, play Ziggs. 80 carry, mid lane, just do it. I promise you, it's gonna go well. This champion is stupid gross, and Firelight is making him look really, really good here. I continue to love what ROTM is doing with their setup, and we keep missing him. How many times has Jimster just died to Tendies off screen?
Estimate, DJ, about 6. That's 6 deaths, and I'm not sure we've seen all too many of them, but regardless, this ain't working. This Graves is not slinging bullets. He's slinging BB pellets at this point, because that damage is just not enough. Tendies with the plated steel caps makes that one really hard to do. Having to use this LDR power spike to his advantage when it does come online, but that's a lot of gold out, and the rest of his team doesn't have too much either. You can see LDR for Dobbs as well, eventually gonna find its way in, but still quite a ways away. You buying that Dirk, man, puts you pretty far behind. Trying to get ahead was this Kai'Sa, but does not pay off. And now Return of the Middle Six had shoved in top. They're letting this one crash, and now they're shoving in bot.
I mean, it's just guaranteed. Again, this turret's gonna die in an instant. That is 7 turrets to 0, Necrox. How can you even set up in your jungle? You can't have any map control. Oh my God, it's gonna live. That's Kai'Sa.
Dobbs goes in, flashing his way back out, but Loker's trying to find the engage, and they got him. Dobbs trades his life 1-for-1, but they find Fireflight with enough damage from the unleashed power. Scout of the Week connects onto Barco Duck, but he should not die. Dobbs critically picking up a kill there onto the enemy mid laner, but they will lose their AD carry, and Dobbs is the one member to do consistent damage. When without your bot lane, this Drake is no longer a question.
Yeah, that is that one shining light for this Wei and Friends roster at the moment. It is that pick, right? The Syndra stun on the Scatter of the Week into the burst, into Dobbs over the top. but it took everything. It took the 1-for-1 sacrifice from Dobbs. It guarantees the Drake still 10 minutes away from any sort of Drake win condition now. And again, it doesn't get easier. Already 2 items on Tendies. This 1v1 in the side lane only gets worse. And as resistances get built, as that armor potentially comes in, it gets harder to assassinate the enemy backline as well. It will take a miraculous effort and overlaying of all the CC and damage they have, or a clever pick like this one that's about to happen on the Firelight.
Yeah, an overstep maybe at best. Here comes the teleport as well to reinforce, and there comes the Dark Passage. Can they get the support out to safety? Glaceon using the box, but he's just gone home fishing, man. There's no way out, and Bark is flashing forward. Not able to find the final bits of damage onto the Jimster using the flash of his own. But they find Glaceon. That is one tool to get that backline access, and he is now out of the picture. And that means Baron immediately started up. Ava's still here on bot side, but I don't think they know. This vision is not in their favor. This Baron should just be gone.
This Baron should just be gone, already down to a quarter HP. They know it's going down. They are not interested in fighting Necrox because they cannot stand up to Tendies. That 2-item power spike, a lot better for him than it is for Kumazu there. And once again, baby, Ziggs coming in clutch with the bomb. No turrets still. 0 turrets for this side of Way and Friends. The Ziggs is a huge part of that. Firelight and crew have done such a good job with their map control. And now with the Baron and 7 turrets already off the map, they are looking for some damage on Way and Friends base.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, the 0 turret statistic is almost 100% because of Firelight. The man has cleared out at least 3 waves that could have crashed in the turret and probably taken down any one of these outers, but not a single one has fallen because of the Ziggs and his ulti. It is so insane the amount of map control that he can provide, not only defense on your own structures, but offense with that satchel charge and knocking down enemy turrets like they are made out of paper. As long as he does not step too far forward here, should not be able to get hooked out or engaged on. Maybe an issue though. They're flashing for him, and Firelight now going to flash away, but he's taken down by Dobbs using the Gale Force to find the execution, and a critical positioning error will cost Return to the Middle Sticks a little bit of priority for now, but they still wear the Baron instead. Maybe look for Tendies down here. Be careful. This Gwen is pretty strong. They'll take a lot of damage to the back end, but the mid wave is always the issue as they crash that one in, and Barco, Duck, and Loker on the run.
Yep, good chase away from Way and Friends. That was a bit of a head scratcher in terms of positioning from Firelight. Yeah, you've got the satchel charge, but without flash, you're definitely not that safe. Oh, Dobbs, that's... Oh, that feels so bad. No turrets down, 1 kill for Dobbs. Only the second time he's been able to ultimate all game long Necrox, and that is what it's used for.
Yeah, that one is not ideal. He shows up with a killer instinct and goes, well, maybe my instinct was wrong. There's no one hanging around. No type escapes around the back end, but Kumazu looking to make a flank of his own here using the Crescent Guard, but Barco Duck may be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to be taken out if he's not careful, but they find Kumazu with a Mystic Shot over the wall. We'll give the double kill to the Ezreal. Throwing out skill shots like they're free, and Tendies makes it 3 as 2 members now remain to defend the base against Return to the Middle Sticks. There's a bomb, not able to find the kill, but one more should find it. Unleash Power doesn't finish the kill into Firelight as Avis falls, and Jimster 065, man, I do not think you get to hold this base for much longer.
I think he gets to hold it over. I think the game is over, Necrox. As long as Firelight gets 1 satchel charge down, it is done. That will finish it off, a clean ace. And what a fight to end it from Bark and No Type We Play. They handled that beautifully, and that is really the way to describe this win for Return to the Middle Sticks in game number 1.
Way and Friends punished, and Return of the Middle Sticks soar as they claim the Nexus here in week 3 and in game 1. Love to see it from this squad. They execute just about perfectly. I will say, Firelight, a few missteps, maybe overconfident. The Ziggs, kind of a busted champion, but you're still a mage. You can still die, and he's the only one maybe to have a little bit of a head scratch play in the end. And honestly, they execute this comp perfectly. It is range, it is safety, it is siege, and they do everything on the point.
Yeah, I think they understood their win conditions incredibly here in Necrox. They had that range composition with the damage dealers. They knew that Tendies was the critical member in the early game up against this Graves who was looking to get in your face, snowball all over with you, and be dishing out lethality damage as early as possible. And they handled all of that beautifully. Tendies and Bark in particular, absolute masterclasses on their champion in this game. 5-1-4 for Tendies with 3 solo kills. Bark not dying at all. 7-0-3, handling that last team fight perfectly next to No Type We Play. No Type We Play is a sub, and they look like they've been playing together for weeks. That was absolutely brilliant from Return of the Middlesticks, and I am excited to see what they pull out in game number 2, because that was seeing a plan come together.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see some major changes from Way and Friends. This early skirmish, early objective-based composition simply did not pay off. So they're going to have to change their game plan. We'll see what they decide to go with, though, in just a moment. DJ and I are going to head to a quick break as we get geared up and prepared for our second game of the evening. Whether Return of the Middlesticks take it 2-0 or Way and Friends want to fight back, we'll only wait and see. We'll be back in just a minute here in UML. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Unified Major Leagues. I'm Necrox, joined by DJ once again, and we just got out of game one. And Return to the Middle Six, man, that was clean. That was squeaky clean, like lather up in soap, rinse and repeat, because that was really good stuff. When Friends had some fight back, and I want to see some draft adaptations, give themselves a little bit more window opportunity to make plays and extend their presence throughout the game.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see some new stuff from WNF, and I think the newest thing that we need to see is a very simple thing, and that's don't play Gravetop. I think that's a very, very simple
That's a
place to
start.
start here. The Graves, as much fun as it was to see that come out, it clearly did not work. Tendies
Yep.
was just absolutely ready for it, and it is such a risky pick, right? We saw exactly what happened when it didn't work out right away. It just falls by the wayside. It does absolutely nothing, offers no utility to your team, and when you have such an early skirmishing composition, you just can't afford that. So, at the very least, I want to see if you're going to go early skirmishing, give yourself something that isn't so coin flippy. Give yourself something that can provide some utility and help out with those early skirmishes.
Yeah, and you can go range top laners, you can go these lane abusive champions, but you got to be able to execute, right? You can't expect to naturally outscale in something like that, or provide more utility. So we'll see what White Friends can do. I think honestly a big issue with their draft is when you play something like the Graves top, then you were relying either on your jungle or your support to pick up the engage. And when you draft something like a Thresh, he's not a frontliner. Yeah, he can sit in the front line, but that's not where he wants to be. He wants to be back with the AD. He wants to be back with the deep damage dealers and providing flays, providing lanterns for safety. So we'll see what they decide to pick up, whether it is some more hard engage, whether it is the same style but with more go buttons, or if they're going to draft something along the likes of what Return to the Middle Six did. Late game scaling, we don't need to really interact until we have a natural advantage. With that being said, though, draft has started up in game number 2. I'm excited to see where we're headed. Gwen, first pick last game, probably going to be taken off the board or just picked first once again.
We'll see, Necrox. The bans have started exactly the same. Samira and Nocturne. There is the Gwen. So Aurelia Gwen. Tendies gets 2 bans. That means something's going to be available as LeBlanc is quickly that same third ban. ROTM, they are changing nothing. Again, that was a very convincing performance for them. They don't feel they need to change anything. They want to run this right the heck back against Way and Friends, and they are taking their time with this third ban, Necrox. They know they have to give something up. What is it going to be?
Yeah, and there's always an option to trade, right? Jin Zhao is available, but there are plenty of other champions in the game that are first pick potential. Ziggs is absolutely one of them. Go ahead, take that away off the board if you don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, pretty impressive champion. Definitely warps the game. I think you said it perfectly. He absolutely just changes the way League of Legends is played, and no issue at all taking that one off the board. Jin Zhao not going to be first picked. Instead, it is the Ezreal once again for Duck.
Okay, I will say Duck was very, very good on this champion in game number 1, but Ezreal is not the most like blind pickable champion in this game. There are definitely things you can do about Ezreal, whether that is drafting a ton of hard engage, whether that is drafting something that will just scale way harder than him because he can't really punish it in lane. And I do also like the Karma takeaway. You know, Ezreal Karma is one of the lanes you can pick to try to disrupt scaling champions. Instead, they have gone for a Varus, but this in and of itself is a very strong poke lane if you want to go that way, which can fight back against that long range that we saw ROTM prioritize in game number 1.
Yeah, poke lane's pretty good. Ezreal can't just run the biscuits and be fine with it. So we'll see how the bot lane 2v2 manifests. I don't think it's going to be all that important. Ezreal is one of those AD carries that can sit at a pretty far range and avoid most of that poke. The biggest question is, what is the duo for the Ezreal? And that could be another Rakan. Well, DJ, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because they're just going straight back to what won them game 1. And the onus here is on Way and Friends to change their draft. So Return to the Middle Six saying, hey, our draft worked well. We're going to keep with it. They won't have the Ziggs this time to pair, but Way and Friends certainly going to change things up with this long range composition that they have built so far.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. They're still taking their time with pick number 3, trying to figure out what maybe they're going to give Tendies. Instead, it will be the Sylas with the Ziggs taken away. It's also quite an early Sylas pick, so really trying to maybe hold out for Attendee's counter pick, but you can't really get that on blue side Necrox, I don't think. So we'll see if that one works out for them in the long run. Wei and Friends now with this third pick to round it out. They've already seen the bottom lanes. They see the enemy mid laner in all likelihood. Could be a top laner, but typically Sylas is a counter pick as a top laner. Instead, they're going to prioritize their jungler here. I'm not a huge fan of revealing your hand in the jungle. You can ban away a couple counters from Hecarim, but we all know at this point, this late in the season, what can play well against Hecarim. You could go for a lot of different things, Udyr among them, to really try to disrupt this. I'm very intrigued to see that jungler be the priority instead of just taking a mid lane counter pick.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you reveal your hand in the jungle, but Hecarim really loves this dive one-shot combo. Ezreal's one of 280 carries that doesn't care about a Hecarim diving him. You have Xayah and Ezreal as options. They B1 the Ezreal, so Hecarim isn't going to be able to one-shot. Yes, you can get disruption, tank some of the damage for your team, but you're not building full tank Hecarim anymore. You're trying to build something like the Sunderer so you can output as much damage as possible. And into a champion like Ezreal, it is really hard to execute onto the backline. We'll see, though, if they want to play something more skirmish heavy, maybe like conquer a Hecarim, just sit there, tank up the front line, but it's just so far out of the way. I don't know why you would R3 the Hecarim for that purpose. Phase 2 bans though are complete, my friend, and now is where things get interesting. Because we're gonna know where the Sylas is going and what Wei and Friends want to play into it.
Yeah, one potential thing they could do here is kind of is flex Karma to the mid lane and use this to enable the Hecarim with the speed up. It's kind of an early season combination. Instead, they will take the other OP that has slipped through picks and bans, Viego, will be snapped up in R4. Really like that pick in that position because that is also extremely flexible amidst those top 3 positions. Not quite as powerful in the solo lanes anymore after multiple bans coming in from Riot, but you can still play him there, and it looks like they'll have to considering Hecarim is already in, but it keeps your draft a little bit mysterious. It allows you to put Karma and Viego still in multiple spots, and oh my god, ROTM gonna pick up a Graves. This can be a jungler, to be fair. It doesn't have to be a solo laner. But if they run Graves back into Jimster in the top lane and blow him up with it, that will not just be hilarious. It'll also be very demoralizing.
Yeah, that is the most statement thing you can do, right? Oh, you just inted on this champion? I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to show you how to play it.
Actually just pick Xerath? Is that real?
What? They just blind pick Xerath? I mean, unless this Viego can't be put top, and you want to play the Xerath into Viego for the ranged melee, but wow, this is just, we are better than you, and we are willing to pick whatever the hell we want to pick. Return to the Middle Six are really giving it to Wei and Friends right now. That
literally has to be it, and I know, Firelight, this is his favorite champion to play. It is absolutely his #1 favorite champion to play. He's wanted to bring this out, and he's gonna have to bring it out into a Kassadin, Viego top, Kassadin mid, Hecarim in the jungle against the Xerath Graves. I don't actually ever see this lane Necrox. We never see Xerath ever.
Fair.
Can this punish it? Can this punish Kassadin enough to beat him up out of lane? That's my question here.
Kassadin is literally the anti-mage champion. You pick this champ the moment your enemy laner locks in something like the Xerath, and you just sit there. You have to punish Kassadin before he hits late game. It is the ticking time bomb in the game. The moment he hits level 16, he is automatically the strongest champion in the game, and he has natural magic resistance abilities built into his kit to deny the Xerath the early game abuse that he would want. So really indexing a lot here on Avius to try to do work with this Kassadin shouldn't be a priority at all. I think mid lane is honestly super sleeper for the early stages. My eyes are on top side. We'll return to the Middle Six. Just pick the Graves back. Say, we're going to send this Graves into the jungle. We're going to put the Sylas top. But this duo, it has such extreme skirmish potential that if they want this Viego top lane, they can absolutely find him.
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, we saw Tendies just completely outplay the Jimster in game #1. Granted, it was on that Gwen, but they're going to look to do it again. They need to get these two champions ahead, right? We talked about how the mid-game skirmishing composition in game number 1 was for Wei and friends. Well, that is very much on the other foot now. Your Ezreal can put out damage in the late game from afar, but he is not what you would consider a consistent DPS champion because he has to hit his mystic shots to really output what he's looking for. That ultimately is a skill shot. So unless you are Uzi on that champion and have a 99% hit rate, it's not the same as having a consistent AD like a Varus, even if it's not attack speed. So you're relying on Graves to be your AD damage. And Graves is someone who wants that mid-game 1 to 2 item power spike like we talked about last game. They want to be skirmishing around objectives with Graves Silas. They want to be beating up Jimster and Kumazu again, because if they don't, this time around, they get to deal with the scaling that is Kassadin.
Yeah, and again, that is the ultimate question mark in this game is, at what point does Kassadin take over? I will say there's a little bit of dysenergy from Return of the Middle Six composition. They have skirmish with something like the Silas Graves, but then you also have really, really scaling safe aspects like the Ezreal Xerath who want to sit back. And they don't have a great front line, to be honest. Whoever Kassadin decides to use his charge up Riftwalk on is probably gone in a matter of seconds. Pile on the damage from a Viego and one arrow from Varus late game, probably just going to die. Even if it is something like the Rakan, he is not necessarily a full-on frontliner. Wei and friends have enough damage to just blow up anyone, and I want to see them play proactively with the Varus ulti, with the Hecarim, with the Karma move speed, and they could really make Return of the Middle Sticks pay here for what they've done in their draft. And quite frankly, it is ego the heck out of game 2 because they pick everything that Wei and friends wanted to pick in game 1, and they want to run back, and they want it now.
Yeah, it is a very disrespectful draft for sure. I mean, any draft with Xerath at this level of League of Legends is disrespectful. That's just how the champion works. I mean, you've got one little stun ball coming out there. What happens if 2 people run into your lane? Oh, I guess you just die, right? Like, that's just what happens. Oh, your flash is down. I guess you just die. Like, coolio, like, cool beans. That's what playing Xerath means. Firelight wanted to bring this out. He wanted to play it. He's going to get his wish, but when you do something like this, it does make for the easy punish of the Kassadin, and it does require you to play at the absolute highest level to not die 7 or 8 times in this game. So certainly have made it hard for themselves, Return of the Middle Sticks, but I am not going to deny them the possibility of getting away with this one. They have a mid-game skirmishing composition, and while Xerath and Ezreal, they want to sit on the back line, they can provide damage over the top like they did in game number 1. You can use the Rakan to roam up and start engages. There's possibility there. It just will require significant execution in this early to mid game to get a big lead, and it's not that easy to do that against a Viego, against a Lethality Varus, and against a Karma who can help bridge this game to the inevitable Kassadin win condition.
All right, we'll see, though, if Wei and friends can bring this series back to an even spot, or if Return of the Middle Six can deny them their chance and send us home and packing after a quick 2-0. Certainly going to be an interesting one regardless. I'm more interested about the Summoner spell from what the Xerath is going to take, but that's a whole another can of worms, DJ. We'll be right back when we get onto the Rift. This duo is ready to go, and these players are already duking themselves at it. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll see you then. Welcome back, everyone, here to UML. I am Necrox, joined again by DJ, and it is time for Game 2 between Return to the Middle Sticks and Way and Friends. Quick update, what's been going on around the scene. DOV, Dare Maroon, all taking themselves 2-0 in these past 2 weeks. In Cloud, and Infernal, Longhorn, and the AoE Zoomers taking the top of the table there. On the next, and Team Motive in the Mountain Division at the top of their throne as they are undefeated as well. Way and Friends 2-0, but it does not seem to keep on track, or at least in this series, Return of the Middle Six has had their number.
Yep, they had it in game number 1, Necrox, and they were very firm about it. A extremely convincing win. Behind that, Ziggs, Ezreal, and of course, Tendi's Gwen. But you know, the response in draft, pretty solid from the likes of Way and Friends as they banned away essentially the entire composition from game number 1. They're like, absolutely not. You don't get to play any of those champions. And now, Return of the Middle Six has decided to play some very strange champions in the Graves jungle, and in particular, of course, the Xerath, Firelight's favorite champion, but one that we just do not see at high levels of play because it is so very easily punished by any capable junglers or teams. And what is happening right now? Did they just send... Okay, this is a bit of an adaptation here. So one thing we need to mention is that Loker and No Type We Play have switched roles here. No Type We Play is the substitute support today, but he is a jungler normally. He will pilot the Graves, and because this matchup is so bad, they have sent Bark Go Duck to play Ezreal mid and Firelight down to the AD carry position.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to go down to, but it now makes sense. Bark had taken the teleport. I was wondering why exactly. Yeah, sure, you're in a bad matchup. Maybe you just want to take the harass and TP back. But no, he's not going to be on that same train. He is taking this Ezreal into the Kassadin, trying to punish the weakness of this mage, which is the early game. So definitely trying to do as much there to get this team ahead. And this is pure experimentation, I feel like, from Return of the Middle Six. They are trying to see what works. And in week 3, they have time to do it, so why not? And this is definitely an experiment that I'm excited to see the results of.
Yeah, I am too. Xerath is a champion alongside Ziggs that has long been postulated as a potential, AD carry mage in that bottom lane. Ziggs has typically been the safer pick because of his additional range, the true damage on his ultimate, and of course the siege potential. So we'll see if Firelight can make this one work. It operates on a similar concept as that Ziggs mage AD carry, and hopefully can work out for the likes of Return of the Middle Six. Regardless of whether they win the game, I at least think they have identified the right adaptation to not just let Avius's Kassadin run over this game for free, and you can already see it working as Bark has got him down to about a quarter HP underneath his own turret.
Plus a hefty CS lead there as well. Sure, there are creeps to pick up, but Kassadin is not particularly known for his ability to farm under turret, especially pre-6. And yeah, Bark is doing a great job here of making sure Avis does not have a good time in this early game, taking the range. As Kumazu headed here into mid lane, Bark does have access to that Arcane Shift. Well done to avoid the initial charge. Will find his way out, and Kumazu, that is Ghost blown for no blood.
Yep, Ghost blown, and honestly, he's fortunate that he decided not to turn around. I don't know if his spidey senses were tingling, but Loker is here on a level 2 roam because they can't punish Firelight. He's got such long range in that poke lane. They can't do anything. There's 3 members in top lane. What is going on, Necrox? They are absolutely shaking up this entire game, but now Firelight's in trouble. Great step as he steps away from it. There's no mana on Dobbs. He's going to stay alive.
Firelight is just staying alive down here. The BGs are back, and this guy will not die. Extremely well played. Does have to burn the flash, though, so will not be happy about that one, because Kumazu is showing up trying to find a return angle. But Glaceon was not there, which means there was no easy ability to access the Xerath without any extra speed, and he simply just walks away, has access to his teleport as well. As I mentioned, Avius uses his to get back into mid. Bark doing as much as he can. Once again, auto after auto after auto, making sure this Kassadin takes every bit of punish possible. But Avius has just about even up that CS lead, down about a wave here in mid. Top laner's just about even, and really the biggest winner of this is Kumazu, is he is hard outpacing No Type on this pick in the Hecarim. If he gets ahead, can actually do stuff to something like the Xerath, which is why you don't see it all too often. It's super easy to dive this champ.
Yeah, very, very easy to dive. We almost saw it in the bottom lane, and they will certainly look for it again. Kumazu has already been in 2 different lanes and made a gank. Oh, double kill. Tendies, are you going to get turned around on?
Oh, Tendies, one more auto the flash, but the flash follow! And the Blade of the Ruin King takes him down. Tendies gap no longer. Jim knocks him over.
Yeah, Jim's revenge coming through here after Tendies gapped him hard in game number 1. They ban all of his champions, and now first blood on the solo kill for Jimster. That is a big deal here for the side of Wei and Friends. It gives them some extra control and strength in the top side. It continues to bridge the power between their early game and their late game. And this is their late game, getting chased out from underneath his turret, but still staying alive, still not dying. He might get dove here, Necrox.
Avius needs to be very worried, man. Those Mystic shots already hurt just with a Sheen, and No Type gonna auto this thing down along with Bark, and Avius really does not have much of a say until Kumazu shows up looking for something, just charges into the wave trying to clear that one out. Takes a lot of damage to the back end, using the Onslaught of Shadows to go back in, but he needs to be careful. He's down so low, the flash auto, and Kumazu goes down.
That was really bold from Kumazu, Necrox. Yes, he's level 6. I don't know what he's expecting to get done there. With that Onslaught of Shadows, it's not forcing him back into turret. There's no follow-up from Avius just yet, as he had not ticked that ultimate, the Rift Walk, at that time, and he just falls down despite the level lead. That gives away his large lead in the jungle and gives the gold over to his counterpart. We were just talking about trying to bridge this early game into the Kassadin win condition. And that is not the way to do it, giving up the lead you have accrued for yourself. He's trying to get it right back as he runs back to this bottom side. We'll see if he can find this bottom lane unaware.
Yeah, maybe there's something here to be found on bot side. Q won't find it, Mantra Q used, so that cooldown is now no longer. But yeah, this is just an easy angle for Loker and Firelight to just sit here and wait out this play. Kumazu is on his bot side as well if there were to be something breaking out. We'll see if they go for it though. Don't think it's an easy thing at all. There's Flash Veil, but No Type still sitting in the wings, spending a lot of time. There's a knock-up, but Loker may just get rooted instead. He's taking a lot of damage. Exhaust is down. Loker ignited. Dashing away. Do they have anything else, though? Flashing forward. There is the blind. Nice skill shot in as well. But they can't find it. They lose out with the collateral damage. Not enough. And Wei and Friends bot lane get away.
Yeah, they get away for now, but they're looking for more. They want the plates. They want to force Dobbs away. They're not losing any objectives on the other side of the map for this. Instead, just losing out on the camp count. No Type, we play very far behind.
Oh! Nice shot there with the Living Artillery as Firelight finds it, but here comes the mid lane. Kassadin showing up. Level 7 means he has access. Nice stun in from that Xerath, and they find it, though. They get No Type, and they're looking for more. Loker having to use the W as a grand exit this time, and now Jimster looking for the 1v1 top lane as well. Tendi's going in for a heavy trade, but Jimster loses out just barely, even with the Vampiric Scepter, but he's stolen away the ulti, but it is not as powerful, but it does not matter. Tendi's 2 makes it a solo kill as he returns the favor onto Wei and Friends.
That was clean from Tendi's Necrox, getting the stolen ultimate, then predicting the ulti out from Jimster to clean him up. He's gonna get a wait, whoa, he might get a double here. Okay, Kumazu's just gonna stay alive. He has the unstoppable onslaught, but he cannot do enough damage to burn through the healing.
Bark having to run away. Nice flash. Oopsie daisy. Okay, Observer, that one might be a little mean, but yeah, True Shot Mirage goes out the wayside there. Maybe didn't click exactly where he had wanted it, but does escape the effort, though. Dobbs trying with that Chain of Corruption, uses his flash, trades it away for an Ezreal, and honestly, I'm giving that one to Bark. Doesn't matter if you blow your flashes at Ezreal, as an immobile carry like Varus, though, that cooldown is super important.
Yeah, the cooldown is very important, but does kind of go down quickly when you already have some boots, maybe some CDR built up. Actually, I don't think he has any CDR in his kit just yet, Necrux. So I'm trolling that one a little bit. But it's not that long of a cooldown. He should be okay. Does mean he can't really get a catch onto Firelight at this point in the game, but with the Drake clearly not a priority for either of these teams sitting here at 10 minutes and not a single one taken, it looks like they are happy to just farm this one out. Why wouldn't you be? You have that Kassadin. Avius picked up a kill on the enemy jungler, and your jungler, Kumazu, 30 CS up as No Type We Play has tried to get stuff done on this Graves and largely not been able to do so. I would still very much put this in the favor of Wei and Friends, although Jimster, oh my god, Jimster.
Tendy's looking for it once again. If the chains land, this could be trouble. Here we go. E2 not able to find it. Abscond Abduct misses, but the chain lash does not. And Jimster's flash is just for fun because Tendy's makes it too.
I'm at a loss for words about that one, Necrox. Like, you already lost one solo kill. Did you think that was gonna work in that position against the Lost Chapter and the completed boots? Like, that was... You would have to burst down a Sylas so quickly. If you can't get him low enough to ulti him, he's gonna live. Hold on here as I play bottom lane.
Okay, Firelight may be a little bit of trouble. Unstoppable Kumazu goes under the turret and finds the Xerath. Now he's on the run. TP under the backside from Bark, but they found the knockup, they found the charm, they found the damage, and they found the pony. One auto, please! They find it with the collateral damage instead. They knock him down 1 for 1. Avius hanging around in the wings. Will not be able to find much more as the trades go even from Wei and Friends and return to the middle 6 once again.
Yeah, trading's even, but man, this top side is so dire now. He had the base again after TPing Necrox. What happened in this lane? He picked up first blood on a solo kill. You should not lose this hard after that. And we were talking about the revenge of Jimster. Well, hold the phone because Tendy's has come back with a vengeance, 20 CS up and just demolishing Jimster. This honestly gives them so much hope. They have a massive point of pressure to play around in the top side now when it was looking like they did not have much. Sure, this Kassadin's behind by 20 CS, but he has the kill. They can just wait it out, but you can't wait out this kind of top lane deficit at some point. This could just bowl you over.
Yeah, and I'm honestly just going to throw it on the build. You need heal cut into a Sylas, or he will out-sustain trade you, and he just doesn't have it. He's working on the Sunderer, trying to hit his first item before Tendy's does, but because he takes the greedy path, he does not have the necessary equipment to take down something like the Sylas. And Kumazu, though, doing his best here, knowing that No Type is on top side. He will trade Rift Herald away for the Dragon.
Yeah, this is a very positive play, in my opinion, for Return of the Middle Sticks. They're the team that needs to push the tempo against this Kassadin, and they need the skirmishing. They need the gold. No better way to do that than with the Rift Herald. I expect us to just go straight top lane, destroy the remainder of this turret, and allow Tendy's to continue to pressure this top side or take his pressure to the rest of the map. That Drake, still 15 minutes away from any sort of soul by that point. They're going to be winning the game with the Kassadin, but Loker, oh, you are way too...
Oh, what a dodge with the battle dance, but they find the onslaught of shadows, but feared back under the turret. That's not the right direction. Dobbs lands an arrow, takes down Loker to about 50%, but they just don't find the kill. And Loker, nice feat there to dodge out of the play. And instead of putting the Rift Herald top side, they're going to put it mid to the physical damage threat into Bark and No Type. So they will be able to do extra damage here with the extra cash they've earned into something like the Kassadin. Jim, meanwhile, he's chilling. He's sitting in a bush, hanging out, waiting to be able to step back up to his turret. Maybe stealing away a Krug. Please get it. Nope. Autoed away. Got that one. Loses out on the small one. 2 more. Jim cleans up neither of those. And yeah, this is a very, very broke Viego.
Did No Type go Collector first?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? You want the damage. People die at 5%, so yeah. All right, more damage. Here comes the ulti. Glaceon flashing. Third is used, lands, but there is no fourth, no rank 11. True Shot Barrage does not find the mark either. That one flies away once again. Deja Vu on that ulti, and Glaceon having to burn 5-minute cooldown means that one's not available for the next fight.
Ooh, someone's not a random minion caster fan there, Necrox. That was directly at a singular minion. Clearly, Bark, he's got an agenda. I don't know if he's played in the UAL before, but that was just rude.
Hullbreaker, anyone to buff up the people? Who knows? Maybe RMC is waiting in the wings. Collector, though, I actually want to go back to this. Why? This actually kind of blows my mind. It feels like you're missing out on the main point, which is the Eclipse, for the lethality, for even the safety of the shielding. Again, we know they're experimenting. No type is not their jungler. Is this just straight up incorrect building, or is this for fun?
Yeah, I don't actually know the answer to that question, Necrox. Like, I had heard the Dark Tech like you did about the sort of lethality into Last Whisper, which he does have right now. I think that's what he's going for. Maybe he just came at a quicker item spike time. Okay, that is a dedicated carry. Yeah, that's what they're looking for. That's the Collector Dark Harvest coming through. I still don't know if it's the appropriate damage build compared to Eclipse, which would also give you the lethality and the armor penetration that you're looking for. I think my biggest takeaway would be that it's just the timing of the item spike. You can get it a little bit quicker, but I would have to ask somebody who plays Graves if that is the correct build. We just saw the Eclipse build last game. Glaceon might be caught out here.
In a little bit of trouble. Goodbye. Bark just one-shots him through. Assist on the way to Firelight, and I hate to burst your bubble here, DJ. There's breaking news. Jimster actually died once again off camera, but, you know, nothing's new there. Up on top side for Jimster as he falls once again to Tendies, who is now 3-1-0 on this Sylas, crashing another wave into the top tier 2. 3-1-0 as well for no type with that Collector. Bark 1-0. Firelight's the only one to have maybe not a great scoreline here at 1-1-3, but even that, still pretty good considering he's been left alone in a 1v2 against a poke composition in the bot lane, and he's doing just fine for himself. Now Fear top side, Onslaught of Shadows, beautiful chains back in, but does he win the 1v2? Kingslayer getting a lot, but the red buff ticking down. Everfrost is slow. Can he escape? No way. The speed is a lot. Teleport is well committed. They have to win this. Tendy's now getting support from his teammate as well. Bark trying to show up. Another Kingslayer available in a second. He doesn't find it, but Bark finishes off the kill. Now they're trying to turn it back into Jimster. Bark going forward with a flash. One more, he finds it. Now Firelight showing up in just a second, but can Bark hold on in the 1v2 for long enough? He's low, he's at 100 HP. He's shut down by this Kassadin. Rift walk away from the skill shot, ignites down onto the Xerath. They might find it, but here comes Loker with a beautiful knockup. It's dodged away, but they find the kill regardless. Glaceon now at a 1v2, gonna be charmed up and return to the middle sticks. Take this fight out of nowhere, and they turn it on its head. Double kill to Firelight, and it's beautiful from this squad.
They're just dancing all over them, Necrox. They're dancing on their corpses. This is despicable. How are you this good to get away with this? Away with this draft, away with this play style, away with these build paths. They are just slamming them and laughing all the way home. This is incredible stuff from Return of the Middle Sticks. And I gotta stop laughing here for a second and focus back on what's happened in the last 6 minutes of this game. We had a 1k gold lead at 13 minutes, Necrox, like 1k. That was it. The snowball in top lane was just starting, but the early game had been going fine. It had been going so fine for Way and friends. It's a 7k gold lead.
Yep,
it just
like
absolutely exploded. 6k in 6 minutes without a single objective outside of the Rift Herald. One Rift Herald, no Drakes, 6 kills, and 6k gold. ROTM have just absolutely blown this game wide open. They have played perfectly to their mid-game skirmishing win condition, and they are just nearly at an untouchable distance at this point in the game.
And I'm thinking about individual players to give props to, but everyone on Return of the Middle Sticks has their own congratulations to give. You have Tendies. How long did he survive in an outnumbered position? Kumizu may be caught out here. This is a little bit awkward. He's behind enemy lines, but not quite on vision. Minion waves coming in. Firelight maybe the one getting flanked though. Glaceon showing up in just a second as well. 2v3 for now. Firelight is shut down. There's reset number 1. Can he find the stun? They get it. There's a nice charm, but rooted up. Chain's gonna land. No type, meanwhile, securing Rift Herald, but he watches his team die, and all of a sudden, it's Jimster picking up 2.
Yeah, that's a huge play. Very clever from Kumazu. And honestly, there's a lot of like colors and like casters that talk about like the win conditions you need to do when you're behind this much. That is like literally it to a T. You gotta come up with something clever like that. And now they might be able to punish Tendies. He is way behind enemy.
Nice shot from Dobbs, predicting over the wall there where Tendies was gonna go. He grabs himself some damage, and Jimster very far forward. Does have to be careful about all this damage Collector can do. Collateral damage will not finish off the kill. Red buff ticking, but will survive. And all of a sudden, it's time for Hwei and friends to put on the siege in the mid lane.
I don't know if they have time here.
Ooh.
Wave's already clear. Here comes the ulti. Oh my god. Sion, goodbye.
He just doesn't miss. Firelight, the guy just doesn't miss shots. Look at his skin as well. He's cool. He looks pretty cool. And it's well deserved. Those are sweet.
No wonder it's doing so much damage. It's Glaceon. It's a pure ice type. His name's Firelight. It's doing extra damage.
That's a reference I can get my mind behind, DJ, and I can also get my mind behind this Baron, because without your support, without your karma to help you access into this pit, there is no way in. Already down to about 3k. Onslaught of Shadows is available for Kumazu, but he's not even interested remotely in this purple burn. So that'll be 5 members wearing purple here for Return to the Middle Six once again.
Okay. Oh, Tendies, you deserve to get punished for this.
What, man? Why, bro? You have Baron now trying to flash away at single-digit HP at the least. Tendies now on the run, but here comes this Kassadin shutdown as well, and this is not what you want to see. Your Xerath now stuck under his turret. We'll find an escape route. Loker on the run as well. They lose one. They lose their jungler. Tendies has to recall as well. So all of a sudden, a Baron power play is now turned into a deficit here for Hwei and friends as they put on a show once again. Glaceon, big chunk out of his health bar. The dive may just come through, waiting in bated breath to see if they can find it. Loker still here. There's the exhaust immediately into Kumazu with the onslaught of shadows under the turret. He's going low, just does not go down. Finally picked up at the back end, and it's a double kill to Bart. This Ezreal just does not stop, and it's Hwei and friends that are gonna drop. Now going forward once again with 10. He's looking to make the play. He still has a Baron buff, but he's still got health to give. He's still got damage pouring through, and the guy does not die. Tendies, the hero of the hour for a Return to the Middle Sticks.
It's disgusting, Necrox. He is so cracked. Tendies, that was absolutely insane. You have no right to be this good at League of Legends, cleaning up everyone after he sacrificed his own jungler in the earlier play, Necrox. I don't think he actually meant to take that chain lash, to be fair to him. I think that was a mistake on the range, but God, what a cleanup here. Right after he picks up the Cosmic Drive, they just cannot stop him. And despite some of the sloppiness here in the last couple minutes, it is right back for ROTM. They are busting open the map. They are taking away the enemy jungle, and they are building on this mid-game gold lead. Nearly 10k now, with a Drake spawning in 15 seconds, an Infernal Soul potentially on the table in 10 more minutes.
30 CS lead in mid and top. The solo laners for ROTM are doing work. One more shot would finish off Dobbs, and like the American sniper, Firelight puts out Dobbs and just shuts him down out of this game 1 and 4. This Varus is just not a threat, and this Drake isn't either, as Return to the Middle Six is gonna pick up one more.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? We were hating on the pick. Firelight was his favorite champion. You shouldn't be able to get away with it, but if you're this good, why not? Well, Aegis is just dying. He's just dying.
He's just, okay, he's gonna survive. Another true shot barrage gonna go wide, and they cannot find the stun, but Bark does not care. He's gonna finish him off on the other side of the fight as well. It is Jim dead off screen. Name a better duo. This guy does not survive, and the base will not either. Inhibitor number 1 gonna be taken down along with Avis on the other end of the rift, but that doesn't matter. It's time for the game-ending push. If not, the game-ending siege. They're going to grab one, they're going to grab two, and Wei and friends, now with their base in shambles, somehow have to hold on.
Yeah, it's not quite the game-ending push, but it might as well be the last nail in the coffin, Necrox. This lead is unbelievably massive. Your Caston is at 2 items, but he's only level 14, I believe. It's still going to take so much time for them to come back, and they don't have it. Supers are going to be pouring into the base. Their top inhibitor is naked as well. It will take a nigh miracle at this point in the game for Avius and the rest of Wei and friends to pull this one back against the might that is Return of the Middle Sticks, who, I gotta be honest, Necrox, they are announcing themselves as a contender for me here today. This is a 2-0 team here in the Ocean Division, and ROTM is making them look like they're all in plat.
Yeah, and not only is this team announcing themselves, they're announcing it with a sub-support who is in the jungle. Like, what is going on? They pick anything and everything and they make it look broken. This is just incredible from Return of the Middle Sticks. And I got 2 words to summarize this game for you, DJ, and it is Tendi's gap. Because this guy, even after getting solo killed in the top lane, turns it around and makes Jim just chopped liver. Look at this guy. He's cracked, he's jacked, and he's looking to end this game without a problem. Blue buff going to be given over to the Xerath.
Blue buff? He doesn't get blue buff?
That's I mean, you know, you could give it to your Xerath or you could give it to your carry, but instead Tendi's, he's too nice. He's generous as well. There's everything for the Sylas.
Like, man, oh man.
I mean, he's generous. He's good at League. What else? Ladies, he's single, maybe. I'm not sure. Hopefully his girlfriend doesn't hit me with a...
Easy there, Necrox. Easy there, buddy.
Tendi's, man, I'm impressed. I'm just waiting for them to end this one out there, TJ. Honestly, we know this one's gone and dusted. Barco Duck is 7-1, but let's be honest, Tendi's has ruled this kingdom from minute 1.
Yeah, man, Tendi's has really shown out in both of these games, and now they are looking to end it here. Third inhibitor should just be forfeit. There's no towers to defend it. They're looking for the wraparound, but Bark is here, and he is strong.
Okay, can we land a true shot barrage? Does Jimster die to the artillery once again? Of course he does, man. But this time it was on screen. Jimster falls, and the base might just follow. Avis on the run with the Rift Walk, trying to stack that one up as quick as possible, but the wave is in. The siege is through, and Kumazu's on the front line with a nice onslaught of shadows, but he's immediately exhausted and on the run, and collateral damage will knock him over. The top side for W plus F is already dead, and Avius may just follow into the Zhonya's. Maybe they find a kill in the back end of Tendi's. Ignite is doing work. The turret helps finish him off, but it's Glaceon that gets the kill. And an ace finally will end this one out. Return to the Middle Six take their night 2-0.
Yes, they do. They're going to try and panicate. He's not there for Bark Goat Duck. Just his second death of the entire series. 2 in 2 games. And like we were saying, what a showing from Return of the Middle Sticks. Turning heads, turning minds, turning hearts. Apparently, they can draft anything and get away with it here, Necrox. That is just how good they are. This was a disgustingly enjoyable, a disgustingly fun performance, an incredibly just cracked team here. Return of the Middle Sticks, remember the name. They're going to be around for a long time this season.
I mean, they can pick Graves Jungle, build Collector first item, and have it be their support player. And they're still winning. All they need to do to sell me, DJ, and then I'm buying merch, copping shirts, and riding their victory train to the finals, is play Fiddlesticks mid. That's the final stepping stone, and they've completed the arc. Until they do it, I'm just shy of giving them everything, but it's Return of the Middle Sticks to the moon.
Yeah, I'm straight with you. I think, I don't know how Wei and friends should even feel after this match. You know, game number 1,
Not
you can,
much, numb.
you take your game, you look back at it, you ban their entire draft from game number 1, and you're like, okay, we can play this one out. We get a solo kill in our top laner, things are going well, and then where did this game go? Women just absolutely vanished in the blink of an eye in that mid game. Just kill after kill, play after play. Tendies completely gapped Jimster in that top lane. Where do you go after losing to a Xerath in competitive play?
I mean, you go to week 4, man. That's the only destination for Way and Friends because this one is all wrapped up. Man, I am excited for where this team goes. Hopefully, we get to see them more often, but this Ocean division already looks spiced. Return of the Middle Six making themselves announced here in week 3. DJ, final thoughts before we send it out for the end of our stream.
Yeah, I mean, get some ice cream, Way and Friends. Bounce back week 4. We'll be looking out for that game. I believe in you. This is, take it on the chin. You guys will be just fine. Just a rough night. Bounce on back for Return of the Middle Sticks. Yeah, keep impressing me. I want to see more. If you can pick Xerath, what else can you pick and still win a game? Think the sky's the limit for this draft and this team. Keep your eyes on them for the rest of the split because we could get some spice. We could get some tech, and maybe we could even see it trickle up, Necrox.
Yeah, maybe some other teams looking to pick some things up as well, but only time will tell. Thanks, DJ, for joining me on the cast. And for everyone that tuned in, I hope you all enjoyed watching this fun series as Return of the Middle Six takes it 2-0 at the end of the night. We'll see you next time we go live. Of course, always stay tuned to Unified as they got action all throughout the week. Until next time, though, we'll see you soon. Stay safe and have a good evening.